Welcome to Living the Empowered Life podcast, where we discuss all things empowering, encouraging and inspiring. My name is Yvonne Ellis. I'm an empowerment speaker, author, coach, trainer and founder of Yumi Empowerment, a company that facilitates the empowerment of people. I help people to make positive life change, live in their purpose and develop into their best version of self. I share stories, interviews, spiritual encouragement and actionable tips to empower, encourage and inspire you to live the life you want. So if you want to live the empowered life, join me each week on my podcast so we can take the journey together. Hello Empowered Lifers, welcome to episode 23 of Living the Empowered Life podcast. Hope you are all doing well today. I'm doing great. As of recording this podcast, it is Sunday the 3rd of October. I've had a busy few days actually. I had a huge event that I was working on for quite a few weeks, which happened on Friday the 1st of October. And I'm really pleased that that went well. You know, the people who the event was for said it was amazing. And then yesterday I just relaxed. And today, well, I'm doing some things in my office, some admin and other stuff. But I wanted to record this podcast and get it out to you. And in today's podcast, I want to talk to you about 6 things you need to know as a business entrepreneur. Now, before I get into talking to you about that, I just want to thank you for listening into this episode. For those of you who continue to support me, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I really, really do. And if you're listening in for the first time, welcome. I hope you find this episode to be of something of value to you. Well, to anyone listening, I hope it's valuable to you. But especially if you're listening in, I hope that you do find this episode to be empowering, encouraging and inspiring. This is why I do the Living the Empowered Life podcast, because it's about all things that help somebody to live an empowered life, living a life true to your own self and not to others. And I share different things on this podcast from my experiences, things I've learned along the way, insights, all different types of things. So if you haven't pressed that subscribe button or follow button on Apple iTunes, Spotify or Stitcher, where this podcast is available, please do so and follow me, because I do release bi-weekly episodes. So thank you again. And also, if you're on YouTube, follow me over there. I have a YouTube channel called Living the Empowered Life. And on that platform, I share things that are empowering, encouraging and inspiring, you know, to help you live the empowered life. If you're on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, YEME_empowerment. Over there I share quotes and different things that I do out and about living the empowered life, and I will leave all links to these websites and content in the show notes below. So without further ado, I want to talk to you in this episode about 6 things you need to know as a business entrepreneur. Now, stepping out and setting up your own business can be really, really scary, especially if it's something that is outside of your comfort zone. Maybe you're listening into this, maybe you've got a side hustle or something you've been doing for a while and you're thinking about taking it to the next level, but you don't really know the key things that you really do need to know. And I have been in business now for 3.5 years with my company, Yumi Empowerment. Well, it's going to be 4 years in April. And I can tell you, I have learned a lot along the way. Everything that I've learned actually has come through being self-taught or, you know, listening to other big entrepreneurs on places like YouTube and podcasts, reading books. But a lot of the things that I have done to build myself as an entrepreneur and build my business is to really step out into the unknown. And for those of you who don't know, my new book, Stepping into the Unknown, is going to be released in November this year. I'm so excited to share this book with you. It's a bit of a transitional book for me because my last 2 books were really talking about specific issues to do with going through certain life challenges. And this new book is a crossover book, actually, you know, things that I learned along those experiences and things I learned from new experiences that I share with you, my knowledge, my insights. You know, I'm really excited to be bringing this book to you. But back to what I was talking about in terms of stepping out into the unknown, it can be really, really scary. As I mentioned, I have learned a lot along the way. And the things that I'm going to share with you are not the be all or end all of everything that I know. I know lots of things from stepping out into the unknown to set up as an entrepreneur. But these are just 6 key things that I think would be of benefit to those of you, who are thinking about setting up. And I'm still on my own learning journey. I haven't arrived yet. As a matter of fact, even though I'm good at innovation, executing my ideas, and generally good with the business admin side of things, I have recognized that I need to continue building my knowledge on the mechanics, the behind the scenes of building and scaling a business, and also as well on building a strong brand identity. But it's all a learning curve. It's all about learning and growing and executing the things that I have learned, and it's not easy. So that's why I want to share these things with you. So the first thing I want to say to you before I get into the 6 things is that it's important to know and understand that when you step out to start a business, that you need to put your all into it, because it is involving you leaving your comfort zone and entering into a zone or place of risk. And that, by definition, is what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur is a person who sets up a business or businesses, taking on financial risks in the hopes of profit. So that is just a basic summary of what an entrepreneur is. So if you want to take your side hustle and make it into a business, you have to take it seriously. If you're not ready to do that, it's totally okay. Keep doing your side hustle whilst you work your job, because the honest truth is, being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. It really isn't. I'm into my journey, as I said, 3.5 years, and it has been one of the most challenging things I've ever done, but one of the most exciting things as well. But it's definitely come at a cost to self. So the first thing I want to share with you is, if possible, to have some type of cash reserve. Now, this isn't possible for everybody. I understand this. In my own experience of stepping out into the unknown to set up my business as an entrepreneur, I didn't have a cash reserve. And basically, when I stepped out, it was a God-led calling to step out into the unknown. It was like an urgency to leave. And I've talked about that in, other podcast episodes. And I go into more detail about that whole experience in my new book, Into the Unknown. But if you can, it's good to have a little money put aside. But if not, the next thing I would say to you is to tap into the skills, talents and experiences that you can start to make money from straight away. Because, one of the things I've learned in setting up my own business is I had to go with the service or resource that was going to bring money in first. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the one you most desire to start with, but you have to be realistic about, bringing in that money. Because obviously, if you're stepping out as an entrepreneur to take on that financial risk yourself, you have to start making a bit of income, quite quickly. And it might not be a large amount at first, but just to start bringing in a bit of money so you can start ticking over things like your bills and stuff. And in my new book, Into the Unknown, I do mention that when you first step out as an entrepreneur, it really is a no frills ride at first, because it really is about laying new foundations and doing different things. So if you don't have a cash reserve or some type of savings to help you when you step out into the unknown to set up as an entrepreneur, then start with your most bankable skill, talent or experience, something that is going to start bringing in the money straight away. Maybe it's the thing in your side hustle that has been bringing in the money. Maybe that might be the thing that you need to start with. And that brings me on to the next thing you need to know as a business entrepreneur, is that you need to have multiple income streams. One of the things that I have found, especially during the pandemic, is that when one income avenue dried up, say for instance, events weren't happening during the pandemic, that is like a huge part of my kind of initial income. That's one of the things I started immediately when I set up as an entrepreneur. I had to have something else in place that could bring in money. So the thing that I had in place was my online training. I'm a trainer for different local authorities, and I do different things where I train people, through workshops that I've created, bespoke workshops. So that was a way for me to continue to bring in some type of income during the lockdown. So it's good to have multiple income streams. I have read in quite a few places that they recommend that you have at least 5 or 6 income streams. I've seen other people that have about 7 or 8. I can name that I have probably about 5 at the moment. Obviously the events, the training, my books, workshops, online courses. What else have I got? Consultancy, empowerment coaching. So yeah, I've probably got a little bit more than 5 or 6. But when one avenue dries up, you need to have something else in place. So sit down and think about your skills, talents and experiences. What can you use to bring in those income streams? And then start to think about ways to build them. The next thing I want to share with you is budgeting skills. Now, this is something I had to learn specifically in the area of becoming a business entrepreneur, because it's very different to being in a traditional job. Traditional employment, you get a paycheck every single month on the same day. So you can, design and plan your life by it. Obviously, if you're not being made redundant or anything like that, when you're in a job, you will have your traditional paycheck coming in every month. As an entrepreneur, it is not like that. Literally, for me, it is contract by contract. And at first, it took me at least, I would say, a year and a half, 2 years to get out of that mindset of traditional employment salary thinking, because I'd been used to that for 23 years, because for 23 years, I always worked for an employer. Now I'm much better at it. So when I get paid from a contract, I work out how much bills I've got to get paid until I get my next contract. And not just the bills and stuff and business outgoings. Obviously, I've got to think about things for my family and different things like that. It does take a little bit of time to get, your head around it, but it's something that you need to be thinking about. The next thing I want to share with you that is really important for you to understand, because there are statistics out there that say that most businesses don't last the first 5 years. And as a matter of fact, some people who step out and start up a business as an entrepreneur, some don't even last probably even 24 months. Now, there are many different reasons why that happens, personal reasons, it could be lots of different things. But I need you to know, I need you to understand that being an entrepreneur is always going to be hard work. It took time for that to sink into my mind. And it was only through actually reading a lady called Maria Hastisfarvis. I think that's how you pronounce her name. It's only in reading her books that I understood from her, somebody who'd been in business for over maybe 20 years, that you will never arrive as an entrepreneur. There will never be this big, hey, I made it moment. You'll probably get little moments of success, but you're always going to have to be thinking about how you're going to be bringing in money into your business, creating things of value that people will want to buy from you. It's not just about the money aspect, it's about creating things of value for people as well. So you're never going to be at a place where you say, I've arrived. And that is one of the things that Maria was talking about on Instagram, that all these entrepreneurs that show on their Instagram page, them flying off to countries, doing this, doing that, doing all these glamorous things. She said it's not like that. It really is hands-on work, and I can definitely verify and vouch for that. I do everything myself within my own company. I am the admin. I go to the meetings. I package the goods. I do everything myself, and I think that's a good way to start as an entrepreneur. But a lot of people will try and tell you a lie and say that if you haven't done certain things by a certain time, then you're not going to succeed. But you need to understand that it will always be hard work. You're always going to have to be thinking of different things, to continue to build your business. And that brings me on to my next point. In the times when things do get hard and the hard work, sometimes might feel overwhelming, creativity, innovation and passion, a love for what you do will keep you going. Trust me, the pandemic for me was really, really difficult. Even though I was bringing in income streams, I found it extremely difficult at times, especially mentally. But what kept me going is that I'm really passionate about the things that I'm doing. I love creating courses. I love creating content. I love sharing my knowledge with people and my passion for ideas and different things. And really that has been the thing that has kept me going all this time, that has kept me, on track, kept me focused on the vision I have for building my company, Yumi Empowerment. So this is really important for you to know, because there are going to be those times where you're probably going to think, when money's not coming in, maybe I should turn back the way I came. But creativity, innovation and passion is going to be the fuel to get you through those times. And the last two things I want to share with you again, and it's in relation to hard work, is that you have to be resilient. You have to build your resilience. You have to go through the hard times and not shy away from them, because there are going to be those hard times as a business entrepreneur. And the last thing that I want to share with you is that you have to have a long-term mindset. If you're going to take that side hustle from where it is now and take it forward and commit to making it a business, you're going to need a long-term mindset. Unless you're going to come into a massive windfall, or somebody's going to invest massively in your company, business or idea, most of the time for entrepreneurs, especially the small scale ones, it is definitely not like that. You have to have a long-term mindset. You have to be thinking, actually, my business in 5, 7, 10 years time, this is what I imagine where I will be with it. And one of the most important things I've found from developing a long-term mindset to thinking about building my business is that the vision that I had when I first started out has definitely shaped and changed into a more clearer defined vision along the way. Clarity has come through the process, because sometimes when you start out with a business, you might have an idea of where you want to go and what you want it to be. But then other challenges and other things will come up that will kind of maybe delay or take it in a different directional path. So if you're going to set up as a business entrepreneur, you need to definitely have a long-term mindset. So those were just 6 quick things I wanted to share with you about starting up as a business entrepreneur. As I mentioned, these are things I've just learned along my own journey. I could have told you at least another 10 more, but I just really wanted to share these 6 things that immediately came to my mind. And the Bible verse I want to share with you this week is from the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 5, and it says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." This is really a beautiful Bible verse for those of us who are aspiring business entrepreneurs, those of us who are trying to take a leap and do this thing, because it is really difficult. If you can build your business, the things that you're doing in your business, with care, with excellence, with high standards, and understand that it's a slow and consistent journey, you will definitely see results. I'm seeing a little bit of results in my stuff, and I'm happy with the results I'm seeing. But as I mentioned, if you are wanting to become a business entrepreneur, to become rich, in 1 year, 5 years time, you may never become rich. This is the thing. But if you're setting up for those motives and reasons, you are going to be disappointed, because it really is not like that. And I've watched enough entrepreneurs, I've listened to enough stories, I've read enough books to see how a lot of entrepreneurs' journey started. There was a lot of rejection, there was a lot of hard work, there was a lot of sacrifice, so these things are important to remember. So that is it for this episode. If you are a budding business entrepreneur, somebody who's thinking of maybe taking their side hustle into making it into a business, I would love to hear from you. I'm going to leave a little question, as I do when I post the episode notification on my Yumi Empowerment Instagram, YEME_empowerment. I'm going to leave a question, and the question to you is, are you ready to take your side hustle and turn it into a business? I will also leave links to my empowerment coaching contacts, so you can contact me if you want to get empowerment coaching and support to, go after your goals and dreams. All my other media platforms I will also leave links to. As I mentioned, I post a notification on Instagram. I'll post it on Yumi Empowerment Facebook page, also on the YouTube channel. So please do not forget to subscribe and follow me on Apple, iTunes, Spotify and Stitcher. So that is it for this episode. I hope that you have found it of value to you, because in living the empowered life, it really is about doing the things that you're really, really good at. And that is why I wanted to share with you this episode some of the things I've learned as a business entrepreneur so far. So until the next episode, take care.